Ever considered yourself to be a drug addict? Of course not. But there is a drug available to each and every one of us should we wish to indulge, and it's called booze. In 2020, we spent £26 billion on the stuff. It's a lucrative business.
It's a magical world, alcohol.
It makes me feel good, makes me happy.
It's sort of like a floaty feeling.
I could walk down the street and actually feel confident in the way that I looked, the way that I felt.
We hear a lot about British drinking culture. If you're older, you're much more likely to be drinking more often and every day. The younger you are, you're more likely not to be drinking at all, or maybe drinking a lot once or twice a week.
It kind of enables you to be part of the crowd. If you're out with a bunch of friends and they're all drinking, you want to be the one that's not.
I don't like to get really drunk lying on the floor. That's not my style.
I'm lucky that I'm not a sad drunk or an angry drunk. I'm just sort of a bit of a silly drunk, and it's a lot of fun.
I find it easier to talk to people when I'm drunk. It just doesn't feel so hard and it's quite easy. You have less inhibitions, I guess, so it's just kind of liberating.
The average UK household spends £916 on alcohol each year, made up of £484 spent at home and £432 outside.
So the advice from the chief medical officers on alcohol is really clear. It's the same for men and women. And to keep risks to your health low, limit your drinking to 14 units a week. That's about 6 glasses of wine or an average 7 pints of beer or lager. As a very rough rule of thumb, and it's different for everybody, you can assume that you will metabolize a unit of alcohol in an hour. And your average glass of wine or a pint of beer or lager is between 2 and 2.5 units. So it will take you between 2 and 2.5 hours for that alcohol to leave your body. It's really important when we think about driving the next day. If you've got to be up on an early shift, you've got to take children to school, you've got to be behind the wheel early in the morning, and you've been drinking the night before, 3 glasses of wine will take 6 hours or more to leave your body. No amount of coffee, no amount of food will speed that up. You've simply got to allow your liver to do its job.
It's estimated that each year more than £800 million is spent on advertising alcohol in the UK.
There is a little bit of a debate about alcohol marketing. The alcohol and advertising industries, they will say alcohol is a legal product, we should be allowed to market it, to advertise it. They will also say that the purpose of marketing is around increasing brand awareness and getting people to choose their product over another. However, there's been research that has analysed industry's own documents that has found that it's actually much more about trying to get new customers who don't already drink to buy alcohol, and around increasing how much alcohol they sell to their already loyal customers, so increasing people's consumption. There's also more recent research looking at young people's participation in digital alcohol marketing, so that's sharing content that's produced by alcohol companies, for example, or user-generated content as well, and those kinds of behaviours are linked to higher levels of alcohol consumption and higher risk drinking in young people.
And if you don't buy into the online ads, temptation can also come in other forms.
Price-based drink promotions are things like multi-buys, and they're things like happy hours. And these have been shown in some instances to make people buy more alcohol and also to drink more alcohol.
If I see a really good offer, then I'll snap it up. Or you get the stuff through the post, the flyers through the post that say, new customers, you get 12 bottles for whatever. You think, oh my God, that's amazing. Who would miss up on that? So, of course, you do it.
You will go into places and you will see kind of 2-for-1 offers, or buy 6, get 15% off, whatever it is, whether that's a pub, a club, or, a supermarket, especially maybe in younger people or people that may already have kind of existing issues with alcohol, then that's going to be an enticement. As nice as it is to go into somewhere and see a buy one get one free offer, maybe we're not always thinking about what the implications of that could actually be for someone.
So while price-based promotions that make alcohol cheaper make people buy and drink more alcohol, if we increase the price of the cheapest alcohol, even by a small amount, That is the alcohol that is bought typically by the heaviest drinkers, most likely to experience alcohol harm. So increasing the prices of the cheapest alcohol through policies like minimum unit pricing or by changing the way that alcohol is taxed, those are one of the most effective ways that we can actually reduce the harm from alcohol in the UK.
Alcohol harm costs NHS England £3.5 billion every year. Every day, 80 people die from alcohol-related causes. Alcohol misuse is the biggest risk factor for death, ill health or disability among 15 to 49-year-olds.
Alcohol is a widely available drug, and it's one of the things that is often a bit surprising is how freely available it is. One of the key tragedies with alcohol is really the really marked effect on so many different aspects of physical health.
More than 3/4 of alcohol-specific deaths were caused by alcoholic liver disease. 4 out of 10 visits to hospital casualty wards are drink-related, rising to 7 out of 10 at the weekends, between midnight and 5 a.m. 7,700 people die from alcohol-related liver disease each year.
The liver as an organ is actually one of the most graphic examples of the effects of alcohol in terms of physical health. With increased levels of alcohol, becomes more and more fat deposited on the liver starts straining more. Over time, it becomes more and more scarred to the point where it really can't function. And so it moves from being this very vibrant organ to one which is irreversibly scarred, potentially get things like cancer developing from it, while it's really struggling to play its vital role for the body. If many people had seen what we see on a daily basis, they would really be shocked as well.
We've experienced a relaxed feeling when we drink because it affects the biochemistry of our brain, it goes into our bloodstream. Problems can start at any point in a person's life. They're often made worse by different life stresses and events such as bereavements. Sometimes when people retire, that can be quite a high risk time, divorce or loss of a job, a relationship breakdown. There are a number of kind of stresses or triggers in people's lives. So it can cause depression and anxiety, it can make people feel very low in mood, it can affect people's day-to-day life, it can affect their sleep and their family life. My advice to people who are drinking is to make sure you're sticking to the government limits, which are 14 units a week with 2 or 3 alcohol-free days a week. This is considered safe and moderate drinking. Have a look online and do an online questionnaire, such as on the Alcohol Change or the Drink Aware website. These are quick questionnaires that you can do at home, and it will tell you whether you're a low-risk drinker or a higher-risk drinker, and if so, what other things you might need to think about or other organisations you can contact.
Our emergency resources are already stretched. The police are also affected by alcohol-induced incidents, with up to 49% of all violent crime being alcohol-related. That and social disorder are estimated to cost UK taxpayers an astonishing £11 billion a year.
It is important that when you feel things are becoming heavy, a problem, that you can't manage life with the family, can't manage life at work, if you're late for meetings, like I constantly was, then there is a lot of help out there.
I was never honest to think that I drank too much, but I did, and I do, still on occasions do. There's no shame in asking for help, and in fact it's probably the bravest thing you can ever do, but for some reason we see it as a weakness and it just isn't. Be honest about it is the first thing, and then once you've been honest about it, if you do want to do something about it, and you ask somebody to help you.
I think the advice I'd give to anyone who enjoys a drink is 2 things. First of all, be aware of what you're drinking. Understand why, what your triggers are, and how much. But just a last thought to think about is your own drinking habits. How have they changed over the years? What do you need to do to make a change? And can you bring that back to drink in moderation?